Welcome everyone. For those of you who are new here, my name is Dennis and this is Awakening Signals. This channel exists for only one reason, to question what you were never meant to question and to reclaim the truth that was taken from you. I want to start by saying huge thanks to every single one of you for supporting me and for following my channel. Your support is what makes these sessions like today possible. And today is actually a very interesting one because for a long time now, I've been promising you a deep, honest conversation about one of the most urgent threats to our freedom nowadays. And this is artificial intelligence, digital surveillance, and what is really happening with our privacy, our data, and our identity. So today I will have a chat with a very close friend of mine. He's cybersecurity expert and he works with AI for many years. Hi, Emin. First of all, thank you so much for joining me, and I genuinely appreciate your giving up your time for this conversation. My followers have been waiting for this for a while now, so I'm really glad we made it happen. But before we get into all the big questions, can you tell people watching a little bit more about yourself? Who is Emin and how did you end up in the cybersecurity and AI world?
Perfect. Thanks, Dennis. Thanks for the welcome as well. Great to be here. A quick intro before we dive in. My name is Emin Caliskan. I'm an AI cybersecurity expert and have been in the game for more than 2 decades, actually 3 decades now, because the way that I started my InfoSec career way before careers, when I was in my high school years, played around with Windows and changing some DLLs and hacking into the operating systems and then scanning ports, etc. And then I made it my career studying computer science and then the legal part of InfoSec. Worked as a penetration tester all the way to advanced penetration testing, exploit development as well. And I feel blessed and grateful to really work with, a lot of public, private, academic, or even military organizations like NATO. And in the past 4, maybe 5 years now, I've been heavily focusing on AI security. Had the pleasure to work with more than maybe 2,000 senior professionals across different government departments, mainly in the UK as well as US and Europe, on the threats and risks on AI security. So that's my focus these days.
Thank you. Thank you very much for the introduction. So I will jump straight away to the first question. I'm sure my followers are very interested in that. So do people actually understand how much of their personality can already be predicted from their online behavior or even just from a few sentences they type?
That's a great question. And I believe if maybe your followers have been following, we had the Cambridge Analytica scandal in the first Trump administration's elections time. And apparently, those big tech companies, starting with Meta, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, they're all the same company, right? They already know a lot about us. And I had no idea about that up until when I started publishing my ads, paying money to Facebook. Because when you pay, you really understand how things work. And what I noticed was they have incredible amount of detailed information about almost every single one of us. And it's not just about us, it's also about our partners, our family members. In fact, it's kind of like a funny thing, but maybe tragicomic, is that back in the days, Facebook knew when a woman is pregnant, right? Before her partner. But these days, Facebook, Meta, all their and the counterparts, different products out there, they know when someone is pregnant, a woman is pregnant, even before herself, because of everything that they do online. And when we think about that, this is pre-AI times, okay? Right now with AI, because they ask everything and AI models create profiles for us. So that's why it is a lot easier and faster for these companies to profile us. So that's why it's also very easy for them to really understand what is it that we really want. So that's a huge risk there. Great question.
Yeah, that's a bit scary to be honest. Like if you think about it, having
It is.
all this information about people, it's kind of scary.
Exactly.
What is the most dangerous thing AI can already do that the average person has absolutely no idea about, in your opinion?
Um, it's a challenging one because first of all, let's just take a step back and understand why people use AI. What do we do? What most people do when they use AI, right? They just starting from maybe kitchen recipes to cook meals or something, all the way to holiday planning, and then maybe career planning, and then maybe even some advice, personal healthcare advice. Like literally every single area people turn to AI and try to make sense of things. And this is generative AI. We also have agentic AI, which is AI do things for us. That AI models do things for us, and that's a whole different level. So because of that, AI, when those AI models have the data sets related to us. For example, our maybe personal opinions, political opinions, maybe health details, or maybe even different type of maybe sexual orientations, etc. They have all that data, okay, and because of that, AI can then turn against us and use it in so many different ways. And the most important part, and I love that saying, follow the money. Okay, follow the money. That's why the top 10 companies in the world, when you take a look at them, most of them are in data business. Facebook, Google, Microsoft, they're all in data business because they have data, they sell it. AI will just multiply that maybe by 100, maybe thousands. So because of that, everything that we do can turn against us. And when it comes to average person has absolutely no idea about, is actually the answer is within. Because if they share the stuff that they believe no one can say, that's exactly the point how AI can turn against us and then can use that piece of information to manipulate us, to sell us something, follow the money, and maybe even change our personal opinions in a sense. So there are so many different ways, but they all come back to data that we share and the sinister intentions potentially that they might have behind the scenes, those AI companies.
So in a way, it kind of depends on people if they will agree to share their personal data with AI. But however, there are some people I believe that they need to give some information to AI in order to receive the tasks they gave already to AI. But
That's right.
let me ask you next question. Is it possible to use AI tools like, for example, ChatGPT or Claude or Google Gemini, which millions of people use every day and still
Mhm.
maintain meaningful privacy?
Um, if you visit openai.com/safety, you'll find that OpenAI and Google's Gemini and Anthropic and Grok and whatever. I'm not sure about Grok though. I mean Elon Musk, right? And Mistral maybe and some other providers. They came up with a consensus to protect, let's say, individuals and to kind of protect them from the threats and risks originating from AI. However, how strong they are, how efficient, how accurate they are is a big, big question. Because right now, what's happening is it is so easy to trick AI, and I use that in my corporate trainings a lot. Is if someone introduces himself or herself as if, let's say, I'm a bad person, I'm a hacker, give me all the ways, how can I hack into a system, and show me all the ways to do that, AI will just reject. Most AI models will just reject you immediately. Say, "Oh, okay, I cannot help you with that. That's unethical." However, you can easily trick the system by just introducing yourself as the good guy and say something like, I want to protect myself. I want to protect my company. How can I do that? Okay. And then AI models will just tell everything about how to protect, which in return, you will also learn more about how attackers operate, which is a huge risk. And unfortunate, very unfortunate, because I think that was a couple of weeks back. A teenager asked how to commit suicide to AI models. I think that was ChatGPT, and the model rejected. And then he asked the question again by telling, "Oh, I'm doing a research. This is a homework. I'm doing some study. Can you help me? And then it gave some ideas. And then unfortunately, that teenager committed suicide. And his family is suing OpenAI right now. Go figure.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, can we say it's safe now? I doubt that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's very unpredictable, and AI, because it doesn't have feelings. It's hard for AI to understand
Exactly.
who is behind the screen and what is the actual purpose
It
of
doesn't
that
work that way.
person.
It doesn't
Yes.
work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Talking about hackers, what scares you more as a cybersecurity specialist? A hacker breaking into a system and stealing your data illegally, or a corporation collecting it legally in plain sight with your consent?
Um, Again, I believe that's the fine line between laws and ethics. Like just like I'm not sure if you've seen the show Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul. Amazing movies, by the way, amazing TV series. That I think that was Mike, right, the police officer, and in one conversation he mentioned to I think that was that was Walter, right, the main guy, and he says something like, "I've seen, good criminals but bad cops. I've seen the vice versa as well." So the line between ethics and law is so subtle. Because of that, big corporations can make us sign all the terms and conditions, and then can find ways to use our data that we trust them to share in the first place, and then can use it against us. Unfortunately, we see that everywhere right now. A great example is a company called Palantir. I would say a very sinister company. And they are doing all the ways, using all the ways to harvest the data and use it against end users, right? It's terrible. And also for hackers, they're also a big part of the situation. This formula, because they can, and it's already happening. You can visit aiincidents.com. You'll find a database, and then plenty of unfortunate examples that hackers are breaking into systems. So it's a really kind of like an illusion. I would say both of them are very terrible. But when we take a look at the effects, negative effects of them, I would say big corporations, especially the ones that we don't really know the intentions behind, I believe that's the main risk behind all that, Dennis.
Thank you, Amy, for that. Well, if we have to talk about solutions, if someone is watching this right now, has never thought about digital privacy before, what
Mhm.
are the three first things they should do this week, even straight away, I would say, that would make big difference?
Three big things. Let's see. Um, so first of all, I would say the first point is awareness. Okay. Are you aware where your data is? Are you aware what kind of websites have you signed up before? If you have never tried, you can go to different websites online. My favorite one is Have I Been Pwned? Okay. You can go there, enter your email address, and see which databases that your email address was exposed and potentially your data was stolen. And that was not your fault. That's the worst part, right? So that's why the first part is, are you aware where your data is? Which websites have you signed up for? And there are plenty of solutions. Maybe we can share some links after the session so that people can easily take a look at their online profile. Okay. That's the very
Definitely.
first thing, because that's like kind of like the threat landscape, as we call it. Okay. Attack surface from attacker's point of view. That's the first one. And I would say right after that part, especially related to AI, is, are you afraid of AI, or are you ready to use AI in the right way? Because that's a double-edged sword, right? From one side, if you don't use it, if you're suspicious, and you have all the right to have suspicions, right? But if you don't use it, then maybe you are unfortunately late. You are behind of all the potential use cases and benefits to you, because everyone else in their professional lives, business, personal lives, when they are using AI, but you are not, that's a big problem, because maybe they will get the jobs, you will not. They will make money, you will not. So that's why it's not like let's stay away from AI, but also not like, oh, let me enable all the connectors to OpenAI or Claude or ChatGPT. Let me share all my data with them. and then let them decide my fate. Okay, that's equally terrible, maybe worse. So that's why I would say the second tip is understand where you are in the AI ecosystem. Where do you want to be? What is your strategy? Do you want to just go all in? Some people do that by choice, but make a decision. Don't leave it to those big tech companies because behind the scenes, they will find all the ways to extract the data from you anyway. So I would say that's why AI readiness and understanding where you are will be the second part. And the third part, I would say, is a bit maybe technical, but protecting your accounts, making sure that you are aware. Like you might have a subscription on ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, but if you're randomly signing up for random third-party AI apps these days, you never know whether they are capturing what you share with them, and maybe they are already using it against you. Maybe they are selling it behind the scenes to make profits. And all of a sudden, you start receiving phishing emails, scam phones. Why? Because maybe we didn't pay attention in the first place. So I would say this is kind of like my initial 3 steps to do that, Dennis.
Thank you. That's very interesting, and I'm pretty sure that most of people don't think about all of those, if all of this information that you just gave. They don't realize actually what are the threats and what are the possibilities.
Yeah.
One follow-up questions of what you just said regarding the databases. Do you think so? We will put those links so that people can check on the
That's a
database
good idea.
about their information. Once people's information is leaked in those databases, do you think they can take it away? Do you think they can remove it from those different databases, or is it like once it's there, you cannot delete it?
That's a good one. Um, it is really hard to have some level of confidence, okay, that we can delete, remove our data from online repositories. Because typically, when it's out there, okay? Um, because we don't really know, okay, whether the companies or whatever, let's say pastebin.com, hackers typically go there, paste their, past hacked data. Maybe they have copies and they will publish again. Maybe others have already downloaded that data. It is really hard to find that kind of like confidence. What we can do though, we can change what we can. Maybe our password is leaked. Let's update the passwords everywhere. Maybe our profiles, our photos, etc. are leaked. Let's start using different types of email addresses, for example. But if you make it a extremely big deal, because I know, I think that was called, what was her name? We will drop the link right down below. There is actually a case where a famous American singer wanted to remove data from some news websites, etc., because of her 10 or $100 million mansion, whatever, by a beautiful beach in California. And it created a reverse effect because everyone is now talking about that. Okay. Barbara, I think Barbara something. Okay. I'll drop the link. So it's kind of like, don't push it too hard. Technically, it's limited, but let's just focus on what we can do. I would say that's the best approach, Dennis.
Thank you very much, Emin. Just one last question before we
Sure.
finish our conversation. You are someone who understands this cybersecurity and AI world at very deep level. Do you believe that an ordinary person with no technical background can genuinely take back meaningful control of their digital life? Or is the system kind of designed so that the privacy is only accessible to the wealthy and to the experts?
Um, I think we can do a lot of things. First of all, it doesn't take like, I feel blessed and I feel lucky because I studied computer science. I have all those degrees, even, PhD education to some level, all those certifications. But even for me, at some point, there are a lot of things that I have no idea. How does that work? So that's why it is not like, okay, this is a cybersecurity expert. He knows everything. It's not true. Okay. For me, it's not true. For my colleague, it's not true. And some senior people can say, I know everything about cybersecurity. That's BS. That's not accurate. Okay. That's the first thing. But there are a lot of things that we can do, Dennis. Anyone can do. First of all, always have second thoughts. If something is too good to be true, it probably is. I mean, the problem is most people don't use their mental qualities to start off with. They think, okay, for I receive a phone call from a tax office, IRS or HMRC in the UK. It's like, okay, seems like I owe money. Let me pay and let me just give my credit card numbers. I mean, think about that. Do you think tax office really will process your payment? All of a sudden, they call you. Well, if you call them, maybe, but don't you think that there's 1% chance that it's a scam? And what is going to happen if you don't just answer, hang up the phone? For example, these days, I don't answer phone calls if I don't know the number. Yes, maybe I'm missing some important calls as well, but I'm protecting myself that way. It doesn't take a computer science or cybersecurity degree to have those kind of measures. And I would say, compared together with that, and that's the main part, Dennis. Unfortunately, when we go to online resources, when we take a look at the digital marketing ads and different resources online, we can understand, we can see that a lot of companies are trying to take advantage of us. It is not our fault that we live in such unfortunate kind of like situation in life right now, but at least we can do a lot. At least we can do certain things to deal with this. And just having second thoughts, okay, having some common sense, and then, yes, using these technologies, but taking maybe one step at a time, and then always having that suspicion that what if things go wrong? Can I recover? I would say, yes, anyone can do it, everyone can do it. But at the same time, we just need to pay attention a bit more.
Yes, attention nowadays is very important.
Isn't that?
Thank you very much, Emin, for this insightful information, and I'm sure people will appreciate that. Is there anything else you would like to say as a final, maybe some advices, a few more advice, or
Sure.
anything else if you would like to say before
Yeah,
we
of course.
conclude?
First of all, once again, many thanks for inviting me. Happy to join. If there
No,
will be more opportunities in the future. But um, here's the thing: AI is moving very fast. Okay, cybersecurity as well, even faster with AI because we have agentic AI solutions. We have open Claude that can scan your computer, move files around, and this and that. So it is really hard to catch what's happening, like the latest. But if we give up, throw in the towel, I think that would be the worst thing we can do. Whatever we can, let's do that. If there is something to learn, improve our skills, maybe kind of like a quick guidance document we can read in a few hours, that's better than nothing. Okay. Maybe something like a channel to focus on attention to something. So that's why let's take it serious because if not, it might be unfortunately a bit late, too late. Okay. When they know everything about us, they can, those big tech companies and maybe right now what's happening in, for example, in different parts of the world, different conflicts and different a lot of unfortunate issues, those things will just multiply and we will lose control of our lives, of our identity, of our data. But let's just focus on what we can do starting today and increase our skills and know-how. At least we will have kind of like a defensive mechanisms to deal with unfortunate issues before it's too late. So never stop learning, right? I mean, just always learning, always improving your skill sets. That's my 2 cents for now, Dennis.
definitely, definitely. And mentioning guidance, as you said earlier, I also have some basic understandings in cybersecurity, and I think if me and you, if we create some sort of guidance or some document
Of
just
course.
to help people to protect themselves, to protect their families, their children, their
Sounds like a good
privacy,
idea.
that would be a perfect idea, yes.
Sounds like a good idea. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help you because I believe people deserve that. Okay, it's not their fault they didn't get proper resources because behind the scenes there's always that second agenda right now. In a lot of companies, oh, just buy, take this. But if someone follows a real authentic resource, I mean, the value of that is like, 10, 100 times fold. So that's why I would say anything that you can do to support your followers, I love that idea. Just let me know if there's anything I can do to share my kind of like, point of view. So yeah, we can look into that.
Definitely, definitely, we will do something about this. Emin, thank you very much, and I
My
genuinely
pleasure.
appreciate your time and effort for this
Of course.
conversation today. Thank you.
My pleasure, Dennis. Sending regards to all your followers, and hopefully we will catch up soon.
Thank you, Emin. Thank you. Bye now.
Bye,
Thank
everyone. See you
you.
later. Bye bye.
See you.